What's up guys, and welcome back to Driven by a Dream. Today we have the 2014 Mini Cooper S, which we have been fortunately enough to be borrowed from Sovereign Mini for the day, and we're going to have a look at it all around. I think it's a beautiful car, so let's have a more in-depth look of the car and then we'll take you around it. Okay, so let's start looking at the car. I think this is a very beautiful car. The color is a bit dull, but that's not the biggest problem. I mean, you can get it in any color about. But the matte black wheels with the two-tone roof, the matte black roof, looks pretty cool to me. And this is the two-door, it isn't the four-door. The four-door, in my own opinion, looks a bit too big for a Mini, but everyone has their own opinions. It isn't the biggest car at the back, but it's big enough to have someone sit there, and it's not that uncomfortable to sit there. Otherwise, you can't really tell a lot that it is a Cooper S, otherwise than this badge over here, and the badges in the front, and the Cooper S sign in the back. And then the car has a 2-liter engine in. It produces about 135 kilowatts, around there, and it does 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 6.8 seconds, so it's a pretty quick little car. And it looks good on the road, it drives good, but we'll get into that a bit further. So let's come around here to the back, and then I'll start with the boot. It's, as I say, it's not the biggest car, but once you're here you can see the S sign with the Cooper, and then the 2 exhausts in the middle that I think looks amazing. And then you have the little feature. It's not really a spoiler because it does nothing, but yeah, if we get into the car, you see it's not the biggest boot, but it's plenty enough space to live with. And then on the inside we have our medikit and the puncture kit, because of course this car doesn't come with a spare wheel, but we have a little puncture kit. You can fix the tire once you get a flat, so that's not the biggest problem. Then you have this little compartment here where your tools is to do the repair on the wheel. And then yeah, further, the seats folds down completely. You can take this out for a bit more space if you need it. And yeah, so let's go into the car. So now let's get into the car. Once you get into the car, once you come closer, you can see the Mini Cooper S writing here, which is very beautiful to me and close to my heart because it looks like my Alfa Romeo. And then once you get into the interior, keep in mind this is not the most expensive model. There is more expensive models, so you don't get the full leather seat here. You have a material seat, but inside here is still a very beautiful place to be. The little trim pieces here, the white trim piece with the blue lighting around, is very beautiful to me. The little design, like the handle, the lock design, the little switches, is very beautiful, all finished in chrome. Then the steering wheel is a very nice steering wheel. It's not too big, it's not too small, and you have your multi-functions here for calling and your radio functions, speed control, all those stuff. Then the lights here is automatic, so you don't have to worry about faffing around with those stuff. Then let's get into the back. So now we're in the back, so I'll show you how many space there is. Once we move the seat back, the seat is in my seating position. It's not the most roomy, but it's really not that bad. I think you would be able to have a nice cruise in it with 4 people comfortably. Even though you don't have the most leg room, the seats is very comfortable, and you would be able to sit here for quite some time. It won't be the best for, let's say, 1,000 kilometers trip, but it won't be too bad. At the back we also have the Harman Kardon speakers here on both sides, and we have 3 cup holders, which is a bit overkill, but who cares, eh? And then you have this middle piece here and the center console here, which means you can only fit 2 people in here. You can probably fit the 3rd, but it would be very, very, very uncomfortable. So it's not really the best car to fit 3 people at the back. Then let's put the seat down. I can show you what I meant about the seat folds flat. A bit more space. It's still not a lot of space, but it's enough space to do whatever you want, because someone buying this car won't really be thinking of family and stuff, because you buy this car for performance. And if you want the family, there is the 4-door version. So let's get to the front again, and I'll show you the center console and the thing that's like an iDrive system that you get in the BMW cars as well. So let's go to the front. So once we get in here, we can see the big speeder that used to be in the older Minis has been replaced with the iDrive system. You have most of your controls here, and I think this center console looks very nice to me. So you get the entire iDrive system here, which once you have the top of the range model, you get your reversing camera and all those type of stuff on here. Then you get your little settings here for, let's say, your radio station or the settings in the iDrive system, which I'll show you now. Then you get the radio, which you can have the traffic announcements. You can go on the different modes, like between radio, your Bluetooth or auxiliary or USB connections. Then you have the climate control settings all here. It's a dual climate control settings, so I can have, let's say, 60 degrees and my friend can have 20 degrees if he doesn't like the cold. So then once we get in here, okay, so down here we have our start stop, which looks awesome to me. It feels like you're in a fighter jet with these little buttons here. You have the start stop technology for once you start dead, the engine shuts off, and then once you start driving it turns on again. You have your engine start stop, and you have your traction control. Down here you have your cigarette lighter and the USB port and the auxiliary port. Then once we move back, we can see it's a 6-speed manual. You have your 2 cup holders here, which is nice. You have your sport mode, normal is in the middle, and your green mode. Then once you see here, you have the iDrive system's controls. You have your audio control, your main menu control, the telephone, the knob to scroll through stuff, and the back and the options. And then it still has a proper handbrake, so if you want to rip the e-brake, you can still rip it. And then you have this little center console here, which has the iPhone strap in, but not much in there, not much space. Then in the front you have this little awesome compartment, which not the biggest compartment, but it's pretty freaking cool to me that it's inside the dashboard. And then you have your normal cubbyhole in the front here with your owner's manual, which is a bit odd for me, is that the books just lay around. There's no place to just put them nicely, they just lay around in here. So I'm going to start the car up, and then I'm going to show you guys what's going on in the iDrive system a bit. So starting the car up, put your left foot on the clutch, put on the brake, press it down, and then it should start. Keyless entry, the little circle mini key here, which you find, which is very snazzy to me. And then once you go to the menu in the iDrive system, you can see you have your radio. Let me just turn this softer for you guys. Okay, so then you have your radio, your multimedia, your telephone, your office settings, mini connect. And then once we get to here, it's a very interesting menu to me, because this is all the stuff about your vehicle. So once you go into green mode, which I'll do quickly, so then it shows you, it goes green and it shows you green mode, low consumption, fun, and then it shows there, and then it will go away. Then once you go into minimalism, you go in there, you have a little mini game type of thing where it looks at how you drive, at how's your fuel consumption, your acceleration use, your gear changing, all those type of stuff. So if you want to be green, you have a fun game to play. But I don't like that, because I love this sport mode, which once you activate it, it shows you maximum go-kart feel sports mode, and it shows you the go-kart and the rocket ship, and the entire car lights up. And once you look here, this is in actual fact a rev counter. So once I rev it, you can see it changing there. So that's also pretty cool to me. And then you have your normal mode, which is the typical mini driving fun, as they say. So not really much there, but in here you have your quick reference stuff, which isn't really much. It's basically your owner's manual in the iDrive system. Then once here you can have picture search, which is once again
basically an owner's manual, which you can see where you want to go in and what you want information about. Then your owner's handbook. Then onboard computer shows you your range, your fuel consumption, and your average speed. Then your trip computer shows you more about that, when you started driving, how long you've been driving, how far you've been driving, your fuel consumption, and your speed once again, which you can reset. If I press there, it resets all the values and it starts from scratch. So once we get into vehicle status, you can see you have all your stuff on here. You can check your oil level and then measure the oil level. You can check your tire pressure, your service requirements, so it shows you everything's okay still. And you can have a check control, so then it checks for you, okay, the door is open, so that's the only thing wrong with it at the moment. So it shows you basically all the stuff in your car. You can reset the perform, you can the flat tire monitor, so it tells you once you have a flat. And then down here, something very exciting is the driving excitement. So there it shows you your kilowatt output and your torque output, how many power you're using. So let's say if I put my foot down, it will show you, and then it stops at the place it set off. So that's that for you guys. And then that's that in the vehicle information. Then you still have your settings, which is just a few settings of how you want your instruments to look, your date and time, a lot of general settings. And you can change the lights, you can change what type of lights you want here, you can change the color of lights in the doors and all those type of stuff. So, and you have your software updates and stuff like that. So that's the complete iDrive system. And then I think we'll have to go for a drive now and then show you guys how. So let's talk a bit about the top features in the car. So here you have your light features, which is again these nice little buttons you get down there with the start, stop, and all those type of stuff, which once again feels like you're in a fighter plane. And then up here you have your roof, which you can either just open like that, or you can open it completely, but we'll not do that at the moment. So then at the back you also have a little bit of a sunroof here, but unfortunately the glass can't open, but that's not the biggest problem. But most people would keep that closed. So let's close. Let's go for a drive. Now this Mini Cooper S sounds really amazing, but when it comes to live is when it's in the sport mode. So I'll start it up and then we'll go for a drive, and I'll put it in sport mode so that you can hear that nice little gurgling sound that it makes, and it sounds really, really beautiful. So let me start it up, put it in sports mode, and then you can hear how it sounds, and we'll go for a drive. As you saw, it really goes. So at the moment we're in normal mode, so it's your typical everyday driving mode. Once you put it into green mode, the throttle response isn't so aggressive. So let's say I put my foot down, it's a lot of nothing and then something happens, but it's not that bad, but it's really a noticeable feeling. Then once you put it in sport mode, go-kart mode, you can really feel the car shake almost as you put it into the sports mode, and you you start driving in sports mode. Now I love the sport mode because you can hear the exhaust a bit more, not that much more, but it opens the valves a bit. I am in 6th gear now, so you won't really hear it now. I'm just cruising about 60 kilometers an hour, and yeah, so you won't really hear it now, but it's really a very nice car to drive. Once you're in normal again, the car is very soft. It's a comfortable car to drive. It's not that bad to drive. It isn't the softest ride, but it isn't very firm, so it's a very nice car to drive. The seating position is very nice. You're not that low to the ground, and you can adjust the steering height as you want it, and the seat can adjust a lot, so it's not that bad. The seats aren't the softest, but it keeps you nice in the seat, the little bucket seats. And I think with these heats we have here in our country, the leather seat would be a very ideal seat to have, and I think it might be a bit softer than the normal material seat. So once we get to an open road, I'll push it a bit for you and then see, and then you can hear how it sounds from the inside when I accelerate in this car. And one thing about it, if you really go for it with the traction control on, it wants to spin till 3rd gear. It's really monumentally fast, this car, for a small car like this. And comparing it to the Giulietta QV and the Fiesta ST and all those type of stuff, this car is the cheapest of them all. With the Fiesta starting base model, the Fiesta ST is cheaper than the Mini, but then you don't really have a lot of features in the car. So with features, this car still stays the cheapest of them all. So it's really a good buy in my eyes to have. And I mean, you get the Harman Kardon speakers, you get this nice 6-speed very smooth gearbox, you get the nice iDrive system. It's really an awesome place to be in here, and it's a fun little car to drive. Once we get to the mountainy roads, not really that much mountainy roads, but more twisty roads, I'll show you what I mean. It's really a very fun car to drive, and you get the feeling why they use the Minis in the Italian job. So it's a very awesome car. Once we get to the open road, I'll open it up for you, and then I'll see you guys there. So I'm going to put it into sports mode now. So we're in 3rd gear, and I'm just going to step on it a bit. We're in a bit of a busy area, so I'm not going to completely thrash it, but I'm going to step on it a bit for you so that you can hear how it sounds, and then we'll go to the mountain top. So here we go. And you can hear the wheels spinning, searching for traction as you step on it, and then once you lift off, you can hear that nice gurgling sound. If we hear close, I don't think it would come through on the GoPro. It won't come through that nicely, but I'll just step on the bit again, and it really presses you into the seat. So I'm going to drive through the hills now, and then I'll see you guys when I get there, and then you'll see how it goes through the corners. So that concludes our drive of the Mini Cooper S. All around, I think it's an amazing car, brilliant, fun little car. Would I recommend it? For sure. It's really an awesome car for me. It's a fun little city car that can kick ass in the straights and kick ass in the corners. So I think it's a brilliant purchase all the way around. So join us next time on Driven by a Dream.